Hey, this is Dallas from rebelread.com, your source for accordion learning resources and lessons. I teach a lot of Skype lessons if you're interested. Anyway, today in this video I'm going to show you this great tip for harmonizing, creating really cool chord solos or harmonizing melodies. It's a pretty simple system. I have a couple of suggestions for how to practice it, and I'll show you the logic behind it. So what's going to happen is we're going to be able to harmonize melodies. Like I started off playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. You can do a Twinkle Twinkle Little. You can basically any melody that you could play, you can be harmonized like this. Let me go ahead and show you the logic of how this is. So often when we learn this scale, we learn this technique, we learn it as the scale first and then the harmonies. So here's how I teach students. So I say, okay, this is a scale. It's just like C major scale. We'll learn it in the key of C major. So C major scale, right? It's just like that, except for there's one extra note in addition to all those notes. The extra note is a G sharp, so it's a half step between the 5th and 6th step of the scale. C, D, E, F, G, G sharp, and then A, B, C. Okay, and you'll see how that plays in a second. Now, what we're going to do is, when we play this scale, we're going to play it first of all with our pinky, because when you harmonize melodies, you always put the chords or harmony below your melody note, because that's how humans hear, especially if the notes are all coming out of the same instrument or the same hand of an instrument. We hear the highest note as the melody note. Okay, so we're going to play that scale in our pinky. Let's go slow. And you can look if you need to. Make sure I get that in there. Better sit back a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to alternate harmonizing those notes. And there's only two different kind of chords that we're going to use. So we're going to alternate C major 6. Let's go over what C major 6 is and looks like. C major 6 looks like a C major chord, C, E, G, with an A, and that's the 6th. The A is the 6th, so the C is the 1, E is the 3, G is the 5, and C is the 6, and that's why it's called a C major 6. Now, the first step is to play the C major 6 in the different inversions. So we play with C at the bottom, with E at the bottom, with G at the bottom, with A at the bottom, and then back up to C at the bottom, and back down again. A at the bottom, G at the bottom, E at the bottom, C at the bottom. Alright, once we've done that, now we're going to play the scale, and every other note we're going to harmonize with a C major 6 in the proper inversion. So, we start with C, and you have to have the correct inversion that has C at the top, the correct inversion of C major 6. So, from the top to the bottom you have C, A, G, E, just like that. And let me play. Single note, C major 6, single note, C major 6, single note, C major 6, C, single note, C major 6. Let's go down. C major 6. Okay, so you get comfy with that, and of course, you said, well, you might say, well, you skipped every other note. Yeah, that's right, because otherwise it's too much information. So when you practice, you always want to reduce it to the point that you could really focus on the new thing and get it under your hands, in your body, so to speak. Okay, so now, let's talk about the other note, the notes that we skipped. Those are all going to be harmonized with a B diminished chord, a 4-note B diminished chord. B diminished, you play B, D, F, A flat. So let's play that in all the inversions. B is at the bottom, D is at the bottom, F's at the bottom, A flat's at the bottom, and B is at the bottom. Go down. I'm rushing through it, but you want to take time and make sure that you're familiar with that. Okay, so now we're going to do it in the reverse. So we're going to play C as just a single note. We'll go up the scale again. Now you harmonize D with that diminished chord. Alrighty, now you start to hear the sound. The secret is the diminished chord. So C, now the diminished on the D. E is just a single note. F you harmonize with the diminished. G, G sharp, A, B, and C. Let's go down. C. Don't forget this one. So practice those. So you practice your arpeggio of C major 6, or not your arpeggios, your inversions of the C major 6 chord up and down. You practice your inversions of the B diminished chord up and down, fully diminished. Then you practice the scale as I showed you, but harmonize only every other note. So use all of the C major 6 and then all of the B. Don't put them together yet. You want to make sure, because otherwise it's just too much for your brain to think about. And what you want is you want to develop your motor reflexes. Your automatic part of your body. And if it's too much information in your brain, then you aren't able to fully make the movements that you want to repeat that make these things automatic. So we always reduce the amount of information that we're doing so that way we can master something. And then the mastering really is, it becomes automatic, it becomes reflexive. And once one of the parts of the really complex thing we're doing is reflex, then we can add another part to it, because the part that we've learned already we don't have to think about, right? But if it's too much, then we're not going to learn it, or we're going to learn a lot of mistakes, or whatever. It's going to go very, very, very slowly. Okay, that's just a note about how to practice. So then when you're ready, you can put the whole thing together. So now we're going to do the whole scale. And we're going to go harmonize all the notes that have a C, E, G, or A with the C major 6, and then the B, D, A flat, and B, B, F, pardon me, B, F, A flat, B will harmonize with the B diminished. Alright, so here we go. So here's C. Diminished. C major 6. B diminished. C major 6. B diminished. C major 6. And we'll go down. Oops. Right. Okay, so I kind of missed that first A flat there, I think it was. Yeah. So when your pinky has to hit a black note, you want to angle the arm, especially on the piano accordion, angle the arm so you get the pinky to the black note. And that means swooping your elbow in a little bit so that you bring the pinky to the black note, otherwise you'll miss it like I did. So that's advice to me and also to you. Okay, so then once you have this, my suggestion always to students is immediately start to harmonize some nursery rhymes, nursery songs, like do Mary Had a Little Lamb. So Mary Had a Little Lamb is... And so each one of those melody notes becomes the top note of that scale. So that, and then this is the diminished. C is the C major 6. Back to the diminished. Now, to get more jazzy, I'll often do grace notes with my thumb. Or maybe pinky too. Okay, cool. Let's see, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, London Bridge is Falling Down, Row 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 Your Boat. Yeah, try as many of these really, really simple melodies and try to harmonize them. Find out the logic. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, there's a little, it goes from G to A up there. And when you do that, the next one you expect to be the diminished, but it's not, because the diminished is the A flat. Cool. Alright, so have fun with this. You can transpose this to all the 12 keys, and there's also a way that it works in minors. And I'm going to put up another video that shows this, how to use this in minor. So enjoy. If you have any questions, post them in the comments of this video. I'm available for lessons and all kinds of good stuff. You can find me at rebelread.com. Happy practicing.